and introduce our webinar presenter, Dr. Nitin Manmohan Rao Markanday. Dr. Markanday is an Associate Dean in College of Veterinary and Animal Science, Arbani Veterinary College, Maharashtra. Doctor is born in 22nd July in 1963 at a place called Vairag, district Solapur of Maharashtra. Dr. Markanday did his graduation in the year of 1985 and his post-graduation in the year of 1987 from College of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Marathwada, Agriculture University, Parbhani. He holds All India rank for qualifying prestigious agriculture research and services, come National Eligibility Test conducted by Agricultural Scientist Recruitment Board in New Delhi in the discipline of animal reproduction in the year of 1990. He started his career by joining Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of Maharashtra as Livestock Development Officer in the year of 1987. His quest for teaching, research, extension encouraged him to join Marathwada Agriculture University services as a faculty of animal reproduction in the year of 1988. That is the following year after joining his Maharashtra government. Based upon his experience, skills, and utility, he was entrusted upon a higher responsibility for the post of Associate Professor in the year 1997. Later, his sound subject knowledge, leadership capabilities, ability to lead the team from the front, in addition to the past experience he has gained over the period, has resulted into his promotion of Professor of Animal Reproduction by Maharashtra Animal and Fisheries Science University, situated in Nagpur, in the year 2006. Dr. Markanday was awarded Travel Fellowship. Markanday was awarded Travel Fellowship under Young Scientist category for presentation of paper during Indian Science Congress held in Cochin in the year 1990. His professional horizon were widened after his Israel tour for an international training program in dairy management by Israel in the year 1999. His merit was awarded by Israeli host by bestowing upon him as a travel fellowship. Dr. Markanday is known in national research circuit in the animal reproduction by his participation in 10 international, 37 national, and 29 regional conferences. He is a member and executive committee in many national level scientific bodies, including ISSAR. He is referee for about dozen Indian journals in veterinary areas, in various areas of veterinary sciences. He has contributed in research by implementing about 37 research projects funded by various pharmaceutical companies and one by ICAR. Doctor's professional contribution include organization of total 37 training courses for field veterinarians in technological aspects. He also participated in training courses as a resource person in courses organized by other state universities and institutes. Digital format of communication in the form of online book was also being used by him, contributing a chapter in Bubalin reproduction book. Actually, Dr. Markanday is a versatile personality. He is, to his credit, he has 900 publications in local language, 55 radio programs, 45 media program, 12 Marathi published books, and 23 audio and video CDs. So his contribution in lab to land program include participation in 150 infertility camps, 145 technical lecturers to field veterinarians, and 150 animal judging competitions and 450 lectures in dairy entrepreneurs. Actually, Dr. Markanday has won various awards during his long career, namely late was Rishabh Sri Award, R.N. Sabnis Award, Best Veterinarian Award. So these awards were presented to him by various institutes. Bali Raja Award, Krishi Ratna Award, and Dr. S.N. Luktuke Memorial Exam Port Presentation Award. So he is won several awards in his long career. So these words are actually not sufficient to completely express his professional contribution. Okay, looking into his dedicated and excellent work, we can say that he is a man with perfection, full of energy, always enthusiastic for guiding veterinary fraternity. For his introduction, these words are not sufficient, as I said earlier. He is a one-man mission, and we are all very fortunate to have such a dynamic person with us to enrich our knowledge and guiding the process today. Sir, thank you very much once again. Over to Dr. Markandeya for starting his presentation, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I'm thankful to Dr. Karunanidhi. I'm thankful to Alambek for providing this opportunity to interact with thousands of field veterinarians and my professional brothers and sisters. Actually, we are discussing a very important topic of animal reproduction, that is estrus and aberrations of the estrus. Friends, my entire presentation will be on clinical approach to deal with the estrus in case of animals. As far as the environment is considered, we are now at the temperature of 40 degrees to 45 degrees. So heat is on, and I'm sure that it is the right time to discuss about heat in case of animals. Animal reproduction, basically it deals with estrual phase followed by pregnancy, that is followed by calving. But launching pad is directly related with the estrus. This launching pad is very important because if launching is perfect, then our journey to reproduction is always smooth. So we have to discuss estrus and physiology of the estrus, considering the most important physiological events of reproductive physiology in case of large ruminants, dairy animals. Friends, to start with, I will be happy to discuss with you regarding the phenomenon of this estrus. The activity of estrus initiates during pubertal life, and as animal becomes mature, this particular estrual activity is stabilized. This activity is related with the breeding season, if not in large ruminants, at least it is coined with that of the buffaloes. Activities which are related with two related estrual stages, that particular period is called as the estrus cycle, and generally this cycle is of 21 days. Once animal becomes pregnant and when the act of smooth calving is completed, once again animal prepares to come into heat, and that is called as the postpartum sexual activity or estrual activity. This is seen in case of cows and buffaloes. This particular activity is expected to cease as per aging, but in case of dairy animals, very few animals, they show senile effect and cessation of this activity. Entire life needs to be in the breeding program, and maximum fertility of animals is expected during the lifetime. When this activity is going on regularly, nothing is to be controlled. But when activity is not as per expectations of the science, then it is possible to control the estrous activity in case of animals. It is not only the estrus, but the related event is ovulation, and we will have to discuss about ovulation also. When estrus and ovulation is going on in case of animals, this particular estrus is also exhibited with number of abnormalities, and we have to deal with such a type of cases where there are aberrations of the estrus. So friends, we will be happy to discuss this particular topic in detail. Now, estrus, as we know, it is exhibition of estrogenic activity. Higher amount of the estrus is making change, and also it is exhibiting the signs of the estrus. Major effect is seen in the psychology of the animal, that animal which is in estrus becomes receptive, period of receptivity. When I was student, friends, I was told definition of the estrus by my teacher as time interval between first and last mount of the bull, as we are now in the 21st century and maximum bulls are out of farm. This particular definition needs to be revived, and therefore it is a period of estrogenic activity. Once this particular stage is exhibited by the animal, it is of very short time, in hours, 24 hours to maximum 60 hours, that is the range. Generally, we are observing in case of clinical cases. But this particular stage will be followed by different type of physiological events, and that is called as the event of estrual cycle. Now, whatever the changes which are taking place as far as the reproduction is considered, those are directly under control of hormones, and there is no need to tell that the major hormones which are controlling the cycle are none other than estrogen and progesterone. We are going to discuss the role of these two hormones in detail. Now, only those animals which are able to express the estrus, which are sufficient with body energy depot, where animals, they are getting maximum energy through nutrition, and such a type of animals are only able to express the estrus. Blood levels of these animals are expected to have optimized metabolic fuels. This is a broad term, and metabolic fuels, it is related with not only hormones, not only minerals, not only vitamins, but also it is related with the protein level, fat, also it is related with the energy, and also water provision for the animal. So once the metabolic fuels are optimized, animal is expected to come into the stress. This particular activity of estrual cyclicity, it terminates because of conception, because of initiation of pregnancy, and therefore we are observing a very long phase of gestation in case of cows and buffaloes, where the cyclicity is stopped. Again, after calving, this particular cyclicity is initiated after a sexual period of 60 days in case of cows and 90 days in case of buffaloes. This particular estrus, which is expected to turn into pregnancy, must be of characters like overt type of estrus. Animals should show clear-cut signs of the estrus. Number one, this particular estrus should convert into ovulatory type of estrus, that after estrus, animal should ovulate. Rupture of the follicle is expected in case of animals, and then successful fertilization is also expected in case of animals. So once the estrus is ovulatory and fertile, we are expecting pregnancy in case of animals. Now, once we go to the pregnancy stage, then it is observed that animal has stopped cyclicity and animal has become pregnant. To make the estrual events perfect, hormones are coming into the picture, and the major role is played by steroids, estrogen and progesterone. Friends, basically this is the single hormone having different looks, having different facets. The same hormone is showing its effect in a different manner. So in estrual stage, it is estrogen, whereas during luteal phase, it is progesterone. So this estrogen, progesterone, this particular ratio of estrogens, this is very important. High level of estrogen is expected during estrus. At the same time, low level of progesterone is expected in case of animals. If these levels, they are fluctuating in with very short stride, the cyclicity is like a silent one. But if these two hormones, those are cycling with a maximum amplitude, highest and the lowest levels, then we are expecting best type of the exhibitory estrus in case of animals. So always remember cycle, and particularly the pedals of the cycle, that this cyclicity should not be so short like this, but it should be more and more with amplitude, where the levels of these hormones should go for maximum reduction and maximum increment. These two hormones, they continue the cyclicity because withdrawal of the progesterone is responsible for continuation of cyclicity in case of animals. The first cycle will come to end because of the progesterone. Its withdrawal level will stimulate GnRH basically. This particular hormone has direct role on anterior pituitary gonadotropic hormones. Initially, it will act on FSH for development of follicles, and once follicles are developed, LH will come into the picture as an hike or as a peak for ovulation. Once ovulation is over, the particular ruptured follicle will become a corpus luteum, and after sufficient secretion of the progesterone and with availability of this particular conceptus, it will continue as a corpus luteum verum. But if there is no pregnancy, there is no conception, if there is a fertilization failure, then prostaglandins are coming into the picture to cause luteolysis, to cause withdrawal effect of the progesterone, and thus animal repeats the estrus, and second estrual stage is expected. Now we will shift to the another important aspect, and that is stage of the estrus. stage of the stress is more important, because regularly animals should come into the picture. Cows and buffaloes are under the category of polyestrus. Regularly, they are expected to cycle throughout the year. Season should not be a bar for expression of the estrus, and under modern animal husbandry practices, buffaloes are also expected to come into the estrus. As far as the signs of the estrus are considered, this particular part is related with detection of the estrus, and it is directly applicable to the farmer breeders. No veterinarian should consider anything about estrual signs, because estrual signs are to be considered by the farmer breeders, animal owners. We have nothing to do with that of the estrual signs. Those are exhibitory signs. Those are only signals. Those are only indications. And unless and until we are confirming the estrus, no sign is of any use for selection of that particular animal for the breeding or artificial insemination. So whether those are overt signs, whether the signs are silent one, veterinarian has nothing to do with these type of signs. There are n number of methods to go for heat detection. Nowadays, there are many technologies available on farms for detection of the estrus, but veterinarian has to detect the estrus with the help of rectal examination. That is called as the confirmation of the estrus, or we have ultrasonographic machines for confirmation of the estrus through scanning of the ovaries. Now this detection, it is related with efficiency of estrus detection, and it is related with the accuracy of heat detection. Both the things are once again related with the farmer breeders. If there are 100 animals on the farm and they are in estrus, owner is expected to detect all 100 animals into the estrus. So that is called as the heat detection efficiency of the farmer. If owner is detecting only 90 animals, his heat detection efficiency is 90%. Now accuracy. If owner is saying that there are 100 animals on farm and they are in estrus, after confirmation by the veterinarian, if it is confirmed that there are only 80 animals which are in estrus, others are showing signs of the estrus without physiological events which are going on in the reproductive system, that means owner is not perfectly detecting the estrus, his accuracy percentage is less, and that is expected because confirmation of the estrus is onus with field veterinarian. This estrus confirmation, friends, is related with the three things. In clinical practice, let owner say 100 times that his animal is in estrus, but unless and until you are palpating, number one, open cervix, number two, tonicity of intrapelvic symmetric horns, and number three, which is more important, developed Graafian follicle on one of the ovaries. These three criteria are sure shot criteria for detection of the estrus, confirmation of the estrus by the veterinarian. Estrual discharge is always considered on larger extent at field level. This particular discharge is always at help for the veterinarians. If this discharge is showing furning pattern, animal is expected to be estrus. That is also a confirmatory sign of the estrus. Furning must be clear. Tertiary branching is expected, and there should not be any type of doubt about furning pattern of estrual discharge. Clear cut transparent, hanging, ropey type of discharge needs to be confirmed in the laboratory for confirmation of the stress in clinical practice. Now friends, this particular stress is completed in a period of cyclicity. That cyclicity is divided into two parts. One phase is called as follicular phase, consisting of two stages, proestrus and estrus, and another phase which is a long phase consisting of metastrus and diestrus. Significance of these stages is very important, that during follicular phase animal is under control of estrogens, whereas during luteal phase progesterone upper hand is always seen in case of animals. Events which are related with the estrus and cyclicity are follicular development. During proestrus, follicular developments are taking place on both the ovaries. 8 to 10 follicles they are developing. We can palpate developing follicles. On the day of the estrus, follicular maturity, developed Graafian follicle is palpable. On first day of estrus, that is after estrus, it is possible for veterinarian to palpate and to confirm ovulation or ovulatory pit in case of animals. Hopefully we are expecting fertilization, but this particular ruptured Graafian follicle, it turns to corpus luteum and we expect conception in case of animals. Corpus luteum is palpable as a developing corpus luteum from day 3rd up to day 7th. From 7th day onwards up to 15th day, mature corpus luteum is available on the surface of the ovary, and from 16th day onwards, regression of the corpus luteum, that is regressing corpus luteum, will be available. Senior veterinarians, they are able to palpate corpora lutea albicans. These are the white spots indicative of presence of corpus luteum and regression point of regressed corpus luteum. So those corpora lutea which were developed earlier to its fullest extent, those are remaining on the surface of the ovary as albicans. But friends, follicular palpation is more important, and with the help of follicular palpation, we can able to detect estual stage. This particular estual stage is then followed by ovulation. Developed Graafian follicle becomes mature enough, and because of internal pressure, oxytocin, because of many lytic enzymes, there is a rupture of Graafian follicle. Once there is a rupture, there is a release of ovum from the Graafian follicle, and this particular ovum, along with its adjacent cells, tumulus oophorus, and some part of liquor folliculi will drop into the ampullary part of fallopian tubes. This rupture and its timing is very, very important clinically for us, because this is expected to happen 6 hours to 12 hours after cessation of the estrus. 6 hours to 12 hours after cessation of the estrus. That suits for successful fertilization when we are attempting artificial insemination during estrus proper, that is 12 hours before cessation of the estrus. Once sperms are available in the fallopian, in the reproductive tract, that is cervix, 8 to 12 hours are required for capacitation of the sperms. So this is the best time of ovulation after period of the estrus or stage of the estrus. Some follicles, they may not actually go for ovulation. And in case of failure of ovulation, animal continues the estrus. Estrus is exhibition of estrogenic activity. It is not so simple to continue the estrual signs, vibrant period of physical activities. It leads to exhaustion, and therefore, if ovulation is not prompt, it leads to aberrations. Ovulation, if it takes place, and if ovulation takes place at the site which is not expected, or which is other than the fallopian tubes, opening of fallopian tubes, then it is called as internal ovulation, because that particular ovum will degenerate automatically. But once ovulation is prompt, and once catching up of ovum by the fallopian tubes is successful, then definitely there is a chance for fertilization. Cell will be formed from the ruptured Graafian follicle. Otherwise, the follicle which is not ovulated, it will show its regression slowly. Some of the follicles, they start regressing, but after 3-4 days, they show atrophy, and cystic follicles we are observing on the ovarian surface. Now, after estrus, very, very important for field veterinarians is the problem of bleeding after estrus. Friends, 24 to 36 hours after estrual stage, animals, they show some bleeding. This blood is found attached to the ventrum of ventral commissure of vulval lips or on the tail region. This is all dark red colored blood, and it is a spot. This is seen only in case of cows. Buffaloes, they will not show such a type of bleeding. This is a metastrual bleeding. It is all physiological, and moreover, it is 100% normal. It is 100% physiological. It is 100% normal. But friends, remember, this is a certificate. This is a certificate by the animal that what score condition of that animal which is showing such a type of discharge is perfect one. It is optimum one. It is stream one. Animal is healthy one. And after estrual phase, that is after effect of estrogenic effect, some of the superficial veins of endometrium, they have ruptured and small quantity of blood is coming out. Farmers are very much crazy to link this particular event with the conception, but metastrus bleeding has nothing to do with conception. Remember, metastrus bleeding occurs 24 to 36 hours after the stage of the estrus. By that time, male gamete sperms and female gamete ovum, those are safely available at love spot. That is none other than fallopian tubes. So everything is safe in the fallopian tubes. What happens in the uterus, that too in the endometrial lining, that is cleared by the uterus on day 2nd, day 3rd. Conceptus is expected to enter the uterus on day 5th. So not at all concerned with the pregnancy, and therefore everyone has to remember that metastrus bleeding is not a point of concern for clinicians. No treatment is required, and moreover, no treatment is expected in case of metastrus type of bleeding. Friends, the next important part is the clinical application of this estrual cyclicity. Now remember, when animal comes into the proestrus stage, we palpate developing Graafian follicle. or regressing type of CL, either on same ovary or on two different ovaries. If we inject GnRH during these particular phases, it will boost the follicular development because basically it has FSH-like effect. During estrus, always there is a mature Graafian follicle, and if we inject GnRH during estrual stage, 100% ovulations are expected, and this will lead to successful type of conception. Regularly we are using GnRH support for improvement of conception rate at field level. During mate estrus, if we are injecting GnRH, this will be leading to more and more release of LH during mate estrus, because this LH will help for either ovulation or it will lead to luteotropic effect, that is luteinization of ruptured Graafian follicle. But chances of ovulations are very, very less during this particular period. The same GnRH has luteotropic effect during early diestrus, that is on day 3rd or day 4th of the cycle, where CL will be developed in a structurally normal and perfect manner. Once the animal is in the diestrus stage with developed Graafian follicle, with a developed CL, this L-like effect, luteotropic effect is possible through GnRH. And if animal is on 10th day of the cycle, chances of ovulations are there for those follicles which have developed as a second wave of follicular development. But although there are ovulations, since the cervix is closed, there is no chance of conception even after follicular development and ovulation on 9th, 10th or 11th day of the cycle. So there is no use of using GnRH by day 10th or 12th, like that. But if we go to the next phase of the cycle, where the cyclicity will come to the end with maturation of corpus luteum, initiation of prostaglandins secretions, and also regression of the corpus luteum. During these late stages, second wave of follicular development is possible in case of cows, and this is actually the third phase of follicular development, and that may lead to early type of ovulations. So best time for using GnRH in clinical applications is always estrual stage and first 5 days after estrus. Another important point is the estrus in case of buffaloes. Majority of the buffaloes are presented to the clinics for heat detection. Friends, buffaloes are blamed for silent estrus. But if body condition score of the animals is perfect one, buffaloes, they are also exhibiting indicative signs of the estrus, pronounced signs of the estrus, recognizable signs of the estrus. More the energy level, more is the expression of the estrus. Energy, progesterone, and fertility, they are directly related. In buffaloes, the duration of the estrus is short. Non-discrete buffaloes are up to the tune of 66% in India, and therefore their total duration of the estrus is not more than 16 to 18 hours. Recognize the breeds like Murrah, Surti, Jafrabadi. These buffaloes, they exhibit the estrus for 24 hours. But remember, buffaloes, they exhibit night estrus. Night hits are common. Buffalo will come into the estrus at the evening hour, that's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. and will be off the heat at 11 o'clock next morning. Micturition and bellowing, these are the two important signs. But remember, maximum estrual stages, those are accompanied by slight discharge, pathological discharge, vaginal infection is evident in case of buffaloes, and therefore we will have to take care of such a type of animals which are in estrus. Another important thing is that once we inseminate the buffalo, there are two types of unestrus problems in case of buffaloes, and this is only applicable in case of buffaloes. Either buffalo will not come into the estrus, or after insemination, buffalo may go out of cyclicity, and that is called as the post-service unestrus. This is common in case of buffaloes. So always we will have to take care of estrual cyclicity in case of buffaloes for non-specific type of infections, short period, and therefore the best thing is that once buffalo is confirmed in estrus, go for artificial insemination and breed that buffalo. Trim condition of the animals is more important. Body score should be optimum 1. It should be more than 3.5, then only the chances of conceptions are more. For controlling the estrus, basic thing is the body condition, but with the help of progesterone or external progesterone support, it is possible to extend the cycle length in case of animals. Artificial corpus luteum can be established with the help of cedar, preed, maybe Crestor implants. Whatever the technologies are available, vaginal sponges are available, such a type of technologies are useful for prolonging the length of the estrus cycle, that is the CL life. And once this particular level is reduced, or once it is forcefully reduced by PG, animals, they are coming into the estrus. So safe induction of new estrus is possible with the help of progesterone. Under field conditions, we can use this particular technique in case of buffaloes commonly for inducing the estrus and for making the animals pregnant. Prostaglandins, they are useful for shortening of cycle length, provided buffalo or the cow should have palpable corpus luteum, sizable corpus luteum, and mature corpus luteum. So during luteal stages, it is possible to go for luteolysis and get the animal into the estrus within 3 days. Remember, no treatment on the earth can bring the animal into the estrus within 72 hours of treatment, and the shortest possible time is taken by prostaglandins. So prostaglandins will also take 72 to 96 hours for induction of the estrus, because that much time is required for follicular growth, and it is possible to go for induction of the estrus with the help of prostaglandins, particularly in case of buffaloes. Now, important technique or technology which is available with us is Ovsing protocol, very commonly used, and this particular protocol has ample advantages in case of cyclic animals and also in case of non-cyclic animals. It is expected that animals should have non-infectious reproductive tract, trim body condition. Such animals will definitely respond to the hormonal treatment, which consists of injection GnRH on day 1st, followed by injection of prostaglandin on day 7th, followed by second dose of GnRH on day 9, and artificial insemination. This particular artificial insemination can be timed insemination, or where we want more number of conceptions on detection, proper time insemination is also possible to coin with this particular technology. So this is possible in case of field cases. Now coming to the estrus and its aberrations, all cycles are not normal. Animals, they have tendency to exhibit the estrus with a different attitude, and therefore there are many types of exhibitory type of estrus in case of animals. So types and aberrations are different, and we are regularly noting such a type of estrus in case of animals, regular or irregular, depending upon 21 days normal cycle length. Either cycle length will be optimum, or it is reduced, or it is prolonged. Generally it is reduced in case of heifers. Generally it is reduced when animals are entering into the cyclicity phase after a long period of seasonal diestrus. So initiation is always irregular, but then it is regularized. True or false, cycles are exhibited without follicle, and therefore such a type of exhibition of the estrus without any type of follicular development is totally a false type of estrus. It can be a proper type of estrus having reasonable time limit, or it can be a prolonged estual stage. Similarly, for farmer breeders, it is pronounced one, intermediate one, or weak one, depending upon the signs. Nearly there are 30-35 defined signs of the estrus, and owners, they have to depend on these type of signs. These signs can be divided into different types, but the most important thing is that that is an indication. Once again, I would like to underline this particular point, that the signs are only indicators, those are not confirmatory. Estrus can be a first estrus where cyclicity initiates, or it can be a estrus during the cyclic phase of the animal. In case of heifers, pubertal estrus is exhibited for 2 or 3 times. It is always irregular, but once the cyclicity is regularized, a breedable estrus where we can attempt AI is possible. Animals which are pregnant, they are also coming into the estrus, and that is called as the gestational estrus. It is, even if it is ovulatory, this particular estrus is only a physiological event where veterinarians, they have a major role to advise the farmer breeders to avoid any type of service to the animal during the gestational stage. Postpartum estrus is the concern for cows and buffaloes. That is, after calving, the first estrus which comes into the, or which is exhibited by the animal, is a postpartum estrus. Always we have to induce this particular estrus in case of large ruminants. Many times, if animals are not coming to the estrus at an expected time, or when there is no chance that animal is going to exhibit the estrus normally, then we are inducing estrus in case of animals that is under controlled breeding program. Continuous estrus is the estrus where once animal comes into the estrus, it continues the stage of the estrus and it stops. This is called as a continuous type of, it may be a optimum one or prolonged one, but in many cases, when the duration of the estrus extends beyond normal limits, animal shows some type of exhaustion, a phase of exhaustion, where the signs of the estrus are withdrawn, and such a type of estrus is a split type of estrus. Healthy estrus from a healthy reproductive tract, but infected estrus is such a estrus where reproductive tract is infected by non-specific organisms, and therefore chances of repeat breeding are more. Either it is ovulatory one or it is unovulatory one in case of animals. Ovulations are normal, but if there is a failure of ovulation, n number of problems are expected after anovulation. Large ruminants are expected to ovulate only one follicle. But if there are multiple ovulations in a normal course without any hormonal stimulus, twin pregnancies, triplet pregnancies are not expected in case of large ruminants. And therefore, friends, always one single fetus is expected, and therefore one single ovulation is expected in case of animals. Considering the signs of the estrus, with all three types of pronounced estrus, intermediate estrus, or the silent estrus, we have nothing to do as a professional brothers. All types of estrus with either silent, intermediate, or pronounced estrus, we have to inseminate by confirming the estrus on physiological events. Exhibition sequence, the first or the subsequent, always remember, delete first estrus for artificial insemination. First postpartum estrus, never inseminate the animals, cows or buffaloes. Why to delete? Because this is the first estrus. It may not be a regular type of estrus. And artificial insemination is a technology which recommends insemination to regular estrus. So how the first estrus can be a regular estrus, isn't it? And therefore, let us go for only regular estrus, which will be the second one, and which will indicate that yes, animal was in estrus before 21 days. This is a regular estrus, go for insemination. In case of heifers, buffalo heifers, and also in case of cow heifers, first 2 to 3 pubertal cycles are abnormal. Where heifers, they will take some period of adolescence for regularizing the cyclicity. Those first 3 cycles are irregular cycles, therefore no artificial insemination is expected unless heifer they exhibit a regular type of cycle. Next important one is the reproductive stage. Pubertal estrus, we are not going to inseminate. Once regularity is established in case of heifers, AI is expected. Gestational estrus, AI is not expected. We know it very well. Let there be n number of signs of the estrus, and let animal exhibit pronounced type of estrus. Let hundreds of animal owners complain that the veterinarian is not inseminating, irrespective of clear-cut signs of the estrus. You are best judge for selection of the animals, confirmation of the animals, and therefore the law will be always with you for restriction of withholding AI in case of gestational estrus. Postpartum estrus in case of cows and buffaloes, keep the first postpartum estrus for examination of estual discharge, whether it is clear one, whether it is transparent one. If it is clear one, let us wait for regular estrus. If it is a turbulent one, if it is whitish one, go for white side test, go for culture sensitivity, and get that animal treated for normal uterine health. Then only we will be expecting conceptions in such a type of animals. Stimulus, natural estrus, if animal is coming at its own accord, animal with a regular cyclicity is expected to be inseminated. In case of treatment induced, if it is a treatment for induction of the estrus, and if the estrus is healthy one has to go for insemination. But in case of infectious cyclic breeder animals, through treatment, if we are reducing the cycle length, like prostaglandin we are using to reduce the cycle length, we can postpone the estrus, we can postpone the insemination by 1 cycle for natural defense mechanism to come to the assistance and for more conception rate. Next one is the reproductive health. So reproductive health is related with the examination of discharge, but culture sensitivity test will guide us, white site test will guide us, metric check will guide us. There are many other clinical tests like examination of PMN cells. Such a type of testings will help us to differentiate the type of the discharge, reproductive health of the animal, and then we will have to judge whether we have to go for insemination or not. Continuity. In case of continuous stress, promptly if animal shows the signs of the stress, AI is expected 12 hours before cessation of the stress, but in split stress, repeat AI is necessary. Remember, AI is expected in the second phase of the stress in case of prolonged stress, split stress, but rule for repeat AI, rule for second AI is very important, that second insemination should be attempted only if signs of the stress are continued by the animal beyond 12 hours of first insemination. I repeat, second insemination or double insemination is only applicable in those animals where after insemination of the first insemination, if animal continues the signs of the stress beyond 12 hours of insemination, then only the second insemination is expected in case of animals. In case of ovulation, generally we are going for GnRH support and prompt ovulation. In case of prolonged stress, check LH level. Treatment with LH is supportive, and monitor ovulation. Go for double insemination depending upon rectal palpation and confirmation of ovulatory event. In non-ovulatory type of the stress, never repeat the stress. Such a type of anovulatory follicle is going to create a problem of follicular atresia or cyst. Expect always insemination in case of those animals which are showing a single ovulation. Estrus is a very long type of discussion, and we should have technical support of such a type of discussions. Every estrus should lead to pregnancy. So never miss any opportunity to make the animal pregnant by selecting proper estrus. If we are selecting such a type of animals, definitely our clinical practice will give us 100% efficacy for conception rate. Friends, this particular topic is very, very important, and I'm sure that you might have enjoyed this particular topic. I'm happy to submit that this particular topic was selected by me only because stool problems are more under field conditions, and field veterinarians, they are regularly attending the cases of estrual animals. Our gynecoclinical practice should be perfect enough to have maximum conception rate, maximum pregnancies, and maximum productivity in case of animals. I thank organizers for providing me this opportunity. I thank all field veterinarians who have joined me for this type of meeting. I am highly grateful to Dr. Kumawat for providing me the technical support for this particular lecture, and thanks are due to my thick friend Dr. Santosh Shinde and Dr. Gangadharji Thomre. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your nice presentation. And there are participants who were just chatting in this, and they were all appreciating that it is a very, very nice presentation. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Santosh, Dr. Santosh.
We can take up some questions, no problem, and we can answer appropriately to others.
Yes, sir. Dr. Santosh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can present the questions you find most important. You can present it to Dr. Saab. Doctor will explain. You might have noted down with the doctor's name who has raised these questions. With his name, you just present the questions to doctor.
Dr. Shinde, I have two questions from my thick friends. Number one is Dr. Srinivas Karle. He is a practicing veterinarian and he is an experienced field veterinarian. He is asking about hormones which are most useful during the stage of the estrus, whether it will be estrogen or the progesterone, or whether it will be GnRH or FSH and LH. Dr. Saab, I'm happy to share my views that ठंडा करने का injection, progesterone is used regularly by many veterinarians on field. Progesterone will not subside the signs of the estrus. Animal is already in estrus, therefore there is no use of estrogens. If we go for protein hormones like FSH and LH, we cannot repeat such a type of treatment in case of future, and therefore GnRH will be more appropriate during estrus. If required, ovulation and LH surge can be brought about by LH. But most important is GnRH. It is a safe type of treatment because it is a chemical treatment, although it has hormonal type of approach for correction of estual stage. Thank you. Dr. Pranay Das is also with me. Question is that why some companies recommend administration of GnRH on day 10th or 11th day of the cycle. When we are injecting GnRH, when full grown cycle is available on the ovary, please remember that GnRH is having luteotropic role for Dr. Das. If we are using GnRH in case of animals which are cyclic one, having corpus luteum one, their corpora lutea will be supported. On 10th and 11th day, second wave of follicular growth is expected to be there, and additional corpora lutea can be formed in case of the animals. This is expected as per physiology. But friends, if we want to support original corpus luteum of the cycle, we will have to go for GnRH on 3rd day, 4th day or 5th day of the cycle. That will be more appropriate than that of the 10th day. Then another important question is from Dr. Swapnendu Mondal is asking me, what is the seasonal effect of estrus in case of buffaloes? Dr. Saab, buffaloes, those are shy breeders, and buffaloes, they have weak type of thermoregulatory function. Any type of stress, and particularly the thermal stress, is more important in case of buffaloes. Black skin and less number of sweat glands adds to the fire, and buffaloes, they are of the estrus, of the cyclicity during summer. But managemental practices can improve cyclicity in case of buffaloes, and our efforts are going on to optimize managemental practices in case of buffaloes to have estrus even during summer, and that is possible. Now we have with me Dr. Amarpreet G. Pano, and the question is that can we bring buffaloes in estrus by making environment more cooler in summer and by providing optimum nutrition? Yes, yes sir. Buffaloes we can bring into the estrus if the temperature is maintained to 20 degrees to 30 degrees. This particular effect, temperature range, is important. It makes the animal very cool and animal can come into the stress. As per the nutritional support is considered, we have n number of things for tonics, for energizers in case of animals. Charcoferol is 100 years old story, and never forget about charcoferol when we have to go for supplementation of minerals, vitamins, and all supportive type of nutrients. Equally true, we can stimulate with the minerals, and Estrofit is also available with us. Of course, concentrate feeding is more important, and supplementations to the concentrates are more important. Dr. Nikunj Gupta is with me, and his question is progesterone helpful in mate estrual bleeding? Doctor, I request that mate estrual bleeding will not require any type of treatment, and therefore please do not go for any type of treatment of progesterone or any other hormone for mate estrual bleeding. It is all normal and physiological. Now there are many other questions related with the improvement of conception rate in case of animals. Dr. Shinde Saab.
Yes, sir. Sir, what will
questions you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. What I'm thinking, sir, lot of questions are coming. What we will do, we will compile this question. Okay, we will answer it and we will circulate to all the participants through the mail ID and the mobile number they are having. So I will proceed with the votes of thanks. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
On the behalf of all the participants, myself, Dr. Santosh Shinde, express my gratitude to Dr. Markande sir. Hope that in future also we will take benefit of such interesting and useful session that will upgrade our knowledge. Hence, we can serve the society, mainly the farmer and livestock owner, which are the backbone of the animal husbandry segment. Last but not least, I will like to thank Dr. Kumail sir for his help, because of which this program is successful. Thank you, Kumail sir. Thank you very much, sir. Markande sir, once again, thank you for participating and presenting. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.